Hi, everybody. Nice to meet you. I'm Oded Israeli. I'm the Chief Marketing Officer at Wawiwa Tech, and I'm here to talk with you about the benefits of reskilling and upskilling in the era of generative AI and ChatGPT. Let me share my screen. Okay. Can we see it well, Anita? Great. Okay, so why is adult reskilling to tech crucial in this area? First, let me tell you a bit about myself. So I'm in business and marketing for over 20 years, but I'm an AI fanatic, at least I consider myself one, only for less than a year. Because if you're aware of what's going on with AI, you've probably heard the term AI, and you've heard it a lot more over the last couple of months. And since November 2020, when a company called OpenAI has launched their product, which is named ChatGPT, to the market, as AI become like a fire in the field. Everybody's talking about it. A lot of people are using it. And if I'm successful in this session, you'll be using it as early as tomorrow morning. So as I mentioned, my experience, I'm the Chief Marketing Officer at Wawiwa Tech. We're a company that reskills the world to tech. We work with partners around the world to establish new training centers and new training programs that take people with no experience and reskill them to tech jobs in high demand. So people can come from all kinds of backgrounds. They can be teachers, gardeners, chefs, whatever you. And after a program of about 6 to 9 months, they can become a full stack developer, data analyst, a cybersecurity specialist, and all kinds of other jobs that are earning great money and also are in great need in today's economy. And we have the broadest portfolio of programs for reskilling people to tech. We work currently in 12 countries and 6 continents in different countries. And if you're a university or a training center and you want to discuss with us a potential partnership for reskilling adults to tech jobs, I encourage you to go to our website on wawiwa-tech.com and contact us. Okay, so, technology has always disrupted work. We've always heard sentences in the workplace like, technology has changed my industry, it has changed my job. I have to learn new tools to keep my job. I'm using new software at my job. My employer makes me learn new stuff. Or my profession would disappear in X years because technology is replacing it. So these sentences have always been around, but in 2002, what happened is that the integration of technology into any industry and any work has become very widespread. And surveys by the World Economic Forum and by Forbes said that half of all employees would need to reskill or upskill by 2025. So that was just a year ago. And 82% of employees and 62% of HR people said that people would need to reskill at least once a year in order to remain competitive. Meaning it's not enough to know what you know, you have to keep current with the times and with the changing technology in order to simply keep your job. But I would say that 2023 was a completely different year. This was the year in which AI was already introduced to the market as a tool that everybody can use for free and experiment. And a lot of people and a lot of companies have integrated AI into their workflows, and there's still a small percentage of the workforce, but it's happening in a pace like never before. And my personal assumption is that because of generative AI, and we'll discuss in a second what that means, everybody, you, me, everybody you know would need to upskill now. 100% of people, especially ones that have desk jobs, especially ones that rely on the internet and information sources for their jobs, would need to upskill now in order to understand what generative AI means for them. And let me tell you a bit about that. Just to begin with, I would like to mention that we have a chat open and Anita is monitoring your questions. So if you have any questions during my session, feel free to ask in the chat and we'll address your questions either during the session or at the end of it. And we've also published a short poll to see what's your familiarity with AI. So I encourage you to go to the poll and submit your answer and we'll relate to it in a short while. Okay, so as I mentioned, AI creates an explosive disruption in the world of work and also in the world of education. And just for those of you who aren't familiar with AI, artificial intelligence is essentially a machine that is doing stuff that a human does or could have done and that we deem intelligent. So if, for example, we as humans, we remember stuff, obviously computers can remember better than us through hard drives and disk on keys, etc. If a machine can, if a human can translate from one language to another, and now we have Google Translate and a lot of other tools translating from any language to any language, that would deem an action of a human that we deem intelligent, and therefore a machine that does the same thing is practicing artificial intelligence. And AI is not a new thing. It has been around since the 50s of the previous century, and it has advanced a lot. You know, there has been computers that play chess and win over the world's champions. There have been computers that participated in TV shows. There's been computers, you know, that help us in our day-to-day life, like taking tasks and bots that we talk with on various websites to get service and answers on questions. But the last year, we've seen a real revolution in the field, and that was the generative AI. And generative AI, as opposed to common AI, when we say generative AI, we refer to programs and algorithms, meaning computers, that use deep learning to create new texts, new art, new music, new videos, and other creative content according to a textual command of the user. So I would go to a tool like ChatGPT. I will say, create a blog about topic X, and within a couple of seconds, I would get a blog about the topic. And it wouldn't just replicate something that it has found online, but rather it will create something new that is genuine, it's a first-timer, and it's unique. If you generate the same blog again using the same prompt, you'll get something different. And McKinsey, the largest consulting firm in the world, predicted in April that generative AI will see explosive growth and that a third of their organizations already use AI regularly, just 6 months after its launch in November of 22. And 40% of organizations actually increased their investment in artificial intelligence as a result. ChatGPT, which we'll talk about in a minute, is the tool that gained the most popularity over the shortest time frame ever. So it gained 100 million active users in 2 months. That's faster than Facebook, it's faster than the internet, it's faster than electricity. So you can imagine that if so many people are addicted and like something so much, it must be real good and real, you know, like a general purpose technology that is good for anyone. And I want to show you why. So by today, only, you know, it hasn't been a year since ChatGPT has been launched. There is already an AI tool for everything. If you're looking for tools to create marketing text or educational text, you have a couple of tools. If you want to create images and PowerPoint slides and all kinds of icons, there are different tools for that. If you want to create audio or video or even software code, there are an awful lot of AI tools that can generate each of these things. But behind a lot of these tools and above all of these tools currently stand ChatGPT. It's a tool that was created by a company called OpenAI. I have nothing to do with them. I'm not invested. I don't get any commissions. It's a company that Microsoft and Elon Musk invested in some 7 years ago and has developed generative AI capabilities ever since in text, but also in imagery. And they launched ChatGPT just last November. And following their launch, a lot of bigger companies like Google and Meta, Facebook have launched their models, but their models are not coming anywhere close to where ChatGPT is currently. So if you need to test only a single tool in order to become familiar with generative AI, I really recommend that you try ChatGPT. It's also free. So what is ChatGPT? ChatGPT is a language model. A language model is essentially a tool that creates new text. And the way that it creates the text is that you, as the user, you give it a prompt, you ask it to do something, and then you chat about it. You can say, okay, this is not exactly what I meant. Here's some corrections. Here is additional information, etc. And the chat will continue based on this conversation to produce text for you or to answer your questions in the best way possible, also learning from what you have discussed before in that same chat. So it's very intuitive. You speak to ChatGPT in English, and it also recognizes a couple of other languages, but it's like a natural language interface in which you ask the ChatGPT to do something in your own language. It interprets what you've asked for, it understands you, and it tries to generate what you're asking for in the best possible way. And currently it's free. There are a couple of modules that are there. ChatGPT 3.5, which is the previous version, is available for free to anyone who signs up. And ChatGPT 4, which is the more advanced model, and it comes with all kinds of plugins that can do really cool stuff, is a paid version that you pay $20 per month for. So what can it do? Actually, it can do anything and everything involving text. I really consider it to be magic. Just to give you a short example, I've asked ChatGPT to write a poem about AAACE 2023. So our theme for this year was informing, reforming, and transforming the vital role of adult education in challenging times. And I believe that if someone can write a poem, it's definitely intelligent. If a machine can write a poem, even one that rhymes, amazing. It produced this poem within 2.5 seconds. In challenging times when the world's amiss, adult education lights the path to bliss, informing the minds that yearn to know, reforming thoughts, making wisdom grow, transforming lives one lesson at a time, lifting souls, making the climb. In this age of strife, let learning be the key, for adult education sets the spirit free. Beautiful. I didn't write it. ChatGPT wrote it, and it wrote it in a record time. And see how it related to the prompt that I gave him, the command, write an 8-line poem. And not any poem, write about a specific topic. And it generated, this lovely poem in seconds. Now, it's not only about art, I also pasted all of the sessions of AAACE to ChatGPT, and I said, here's the agenda for today. I'm an attendee interested in AI and new tech. What sessions should I attend? And immediately it sipped through all of the sessions, and it said, if these are your interests, why don't you go to the effects of online learning, virtual and augmented reality, why adult reskilling is crucial in the era of AI. This is this session that you're attending, and telementoring. So you see, it can create all kinds of things, either that help your work or help your personal lives, like a poem if you're a poet, or a marketing plan if you're a marketing manager. But it can also help you with organization, with automation, with saving times. It's really magic. And I urge you, I don't know what it is that you guys are doing, but if you just try it out and ask something that is super complex, and is related to your individual jobs, I'm sure that you'll be amazed of the capabilities that this tool has. Now, the reason that I'm so sure is not only because of my personal experience, but also because of the data. And OpenAI, the company that invented ChatGPT, has released a paper, an academic paper, about how ChatGPT and other language models will impact different jobs in the workforce. And what they have found, and this is again information that is current for 6 months ago, when the growth and the development is exponential, is that 80% of the workforce would see at least 10% of the work affected. But 19% of workers, almost 20%, will see 50% of their tasks impacted. And most of the industries that will be impacted is securities, insurance, data processing, management, etc. Anything that has to do with texts or videos or graphics will surely be impacted. But if you see, educational services is rather high up in the list here in the greens. But I'm telling you, it's much more than 20% and much more than 50% of the tasks. The only ones who are not impacted are people whose jobs relate to, hand labor, gardeners and maybe nurses and cosmeticians. Those kind of jobs are least impacted. They haven't worked with many computers before, and therefore their jobs are not really impacted. But anyone who's using a computer and the internet for their jobs, as I mentioned, is highly impacted by these new technologies. And a recent survey that was released only a few days ago by the Harvard Business School actually showed that it's beneficial for people to use AI. So this was run in BCG, Boston Consulting Group, the second largest consulting company, dealing with strategic projects, and the smartest minds work there. And they've seen that consultants that use ChatGPT actually increase the quality of the work and the speed of the work by a significant percentage. So, if the brightest minds can even become better, then each one of us can become better and faster if we just use AI. That brings us to a very sad question. Will our jobs disappear? If we see everybody's using ChatGPT and it impacts almost all jobs and it makes all of our tasks doable by computers, will robots replace us? And I think the answer is that yes, many jobs will disappear. And robots might replace a lot of us in the future. If we're talking about cab drivers, I certainly can see autonomous cars using AI for navigation, replacing cab drivers. And if we're talking about educators, we can see already a lot of AI avatars that are used in online classes in order to educate people with great texts read by an artificial human being, artificial entity, and speaking with a perfect American accent, which I unfortunately don't have, but any of these avatars do. So yes, I think a lot of jobs will disappear and robots might replace it in the future. And since the human species have gained dominance over the world and all other animals because of our intelligence, if suddenly computers are more intelligent than us, then yes, they have a good chance of replacing us in many, many tasks. But until they do, and that might take many, many years, I think that people who understand the advantages of AI and will implement technology and specifically generative AI in their work and in their workflows and in their work processes will see themselves replaced later in time. And people who use generative AI will be able to replace people who are not using generative AI. So if you want to keep relevance, if you want to be better and faster in your job, if you want not to be replaced by someone else doing the same job, but doing it with the assistance of AI, you gotta get on with the program and learn what you need to learn in order to integrate AI into your work. And you can see already companies like IBM, Microsoft, Amazon, Facebook, and others laying off thousands and thousands of people and replacing them with AI. And it's already creating layoffs within the industry that created AI, because AI can now program, it can write code better than an entry-level software developer. So it's a real risk. And after I've scared you a bit, you might ask, okay, what can we do? And well, if you're not in tech yet, you should always consider reskilling. Reskilling means it doesn't matter what you've done. If you go into the tech field and you work in a position in the tech industry or a tech position in any industry, you're less likely to worry for your job in the future. And if you're already in tech, then AI provides many opportunities. Job roles like full stack developers develop the AI. Data scientists are really needed in order to train AI models. UX designers create all kinds of experience that leverage AI through product, and product managers envision those products and manage their development. DevOps specialists deal with the infrastructure and connecting to all kinds of cloud platforms. And cybersecurity analysts worry that AI would not be able, to get information from us, because it gets personal information, just like Google, where we ask the most private questions to the search engines to get answers. You'll ask AI in a second. And also, enterprises would see a lot of their employees sharing confidential information by mistake with the AI, thinking that there's no one there, but this information is going somewhere to train models that would help other organizations. So there's a lot of tech roles that are involved in the creation of AI, in the building of new applications on top of AI, and in securing AI. And there's so much demand for people in the tech industry that simply reskilling to tech is a great way to go. But even in tech jobs, you can see that generative AI has a huge influence. Software developers now see ChatGPT and other tools writing code for them. Data analysts see that you can simply paste the data into ChatGPT and different plugins, and you'll get the full analysis where you can ask questions about the data. What's our most beneficial product? What's the most lucrative one? Where should we change in order to meet our customers' expectations? And ChatGPT will answer. UX designer can create any kind of logos and icons and graphics for website in a matter of seconds. And marketeers like myself, we use ChatGPT and other tools everywhere in data analysis and content creation and creating websites and creating marketing videos. Really, I can't even start to stress how AI has changed the role of marketing for good. But also in education.
We have 3 minutes left.
Okay, good. Even in education, I know, in AAACE, we have a lot of students and also educators here. You should know that your students are already using AI, and they can ask questions and get answers. They can use ChatGPT to do their homework. They can translate and spell check and check the grammar of the work, and they can practice toward tests. So a lot of useful use cases, although there's also some risk for plagiarism and copying and not really learning, but rather having the robots and the chat do the work for us. But also, if we give them guidance on how to use AI, and we tell them, we know that you're using AI, we're going to check you, then they're going to use AI in a more ethical and responsible manner. And also educators can do a lot with AI. You can develop courses and syllabi. You can prepare presentations. You can recommend additional resources for reading. You can record your lessons and recap them right after the lesson with AI summaries. You can generate homework and exercises and tests. You can do a lot of things that simply save you time and make your course more attractive, more interesting, more interactive. I won't go over all of the things. Just to summarize, yes, a lot of jobs will be automated. All of our desk jobs will be changed because of generative AI. And there are some inherent risks about AI. It invents stuff, and sometimes it invents lies. Sometimes there are legal issues, but the big advantages is that it increases productivity a lot. It increases creativity. It helps us with problem solving of all kinds, and it also creates a lot of new jobs. So generative AI is here. It's here to stay. I recommend each and every one of you to use AI every day, and you can simply go to chat.openai.com to set up an account for free. I remind you, people who don't work with AI will be replaced by people who do well before the robots will replace us. And each one of us, we can be so much faster and better with AI. So there's no reason why not to try. Simply ask the first question and you'll take it from there. And any one of us need to upskill to AI quickly and keep learning to stay relevant and to do the best job that we can in our respective professions. And with that, let me turn to some of the questions. Just to start maybe with the results of the survey. Everybody has heard about AI, so that's beautiful. You know, there's not a single attendee that have not heard about AI. That's already a great sign. But 45% of you have heard about it, but haven't used it. So I hope by tomorrow we change all these numbers to 100% that have used it. And then 27%, about a quarter, tried it, but not too much. Meaning, you know, they dipped their toes in AI, but they didn't really find maybe the value in it. So for these kind of people, I recommend that you ask something that is really crucial for your work, or just tell the bot about the challenges that you're dealing with in your professional life or personal life, and see what it has to offer. And 27% of the respondents say they use it a lot. And I think most of us will be in that situation in a day or two, or in a month or two from now. Okay.
Thank you very much. Very interesting presentation. We do need to move on to the next, but you can continue with your questions, posting them in the Whova chat so that the speaker can come back to answer them over the next even couple of weeks. And the recording will be posted by the end of this week. So.